Hi guys, welcome to Chasing Green Arrows. I'm Dean Jones. There's no Gianni with me this week. I'm on my own again. The second time I've been stood up and had to sit here on my own and do this. Look, I'm happy to be here because I know you lot are going to help me through this. Thank you for everybody who is already in the chat. I can see the usual suspects: Luke, FPL River, in early doors, CH is there, Stephen's there. Thank you all for joining. Laura's there too. Evening, Laura. Hope you had a good game week 36. Hope you got everything you wished for. I didn't. I'll be honest, I didn't. And I'm very angry at a few players. I was very optimistic about my bench boost. I thought some good double game weekers there. I was let down. Havertz let me down. Werner let me down. Gabriel let me down. Saka let me down. It was an absolute, not a mess, but it was a big letdown for sure. So let me know how you all got on. Here's Abzi. Let me know how you got on, mate, because I want to know how your title challenge is going on at the top of Chasing Green Arrows. Before we go any further, I have to give a massive shout out to the guy that runs this channel. Musa had an unbelievable week. Unbelievable. He's trying to give me and Gianni the credit here. We haven't got his team to put up on screen, but I'm going to talk you guys through it because I just want to know what you think of this. He got 184 points. 184. It's his highest ever score. He's very good at this game anyway. That's why he set up this channel. He just loves the community. Obviously, he had KDB triple captain. Everyone in the comments right now, if you had KDB triple captain, let me know. Let me know. Just shout yes in capital letters if you had KDB triple captain, or if you beat the score of 184 this game week, then let me know. I mean, that's hard to ever beat, isn't it? Let's be honest with you about it. Like, that's an unbelievable score. He also brought in Jamie Vardy, which helped him out for sure. But yeah, Vardy only got 14 points. Kevin De Bruyne got him 90. 9-0. Hi, FPL Gaza. Welcome to the chat. Look, guys, this is the end of the season. We're into the final 2 game weeks. To be honest, it's all potluck from here. Anything can happen in these last 2 weeks. The team selections will be messed up. The performance levels will be messed up. I don't know what's happening, but you guys shout at me what you're going to be doing as we get through this stream. Absi said he wasn't brave enough to buy KDB for -8, but he was brave and captained Sonny. And that's the other thing. Anyone that had a good game week seemed to have Son. I did not have Son. FPL Gaza got 1-1-1. That's a great score, mate. Alan, 126 without a bench boost. Brilliant. Luke, 83. Happy days, mate. I mean, that's a decent score, isn't it? That is a decent score. I'll go through my team a bit more in depth later when we get to the section. We're still going to go through Gianni's team, I believe, as well. But yeah, look, we've still got plenty to come tonight. It's been an unbelievable game week. Obviously, Kevin De Bruyne scoring 4 was the highlight, if you had him anyway. A bit of a low light for those of us that didn't have him in their team. The North London derby was pretty mad, wasn't it? Spurs giving Arsenal an absolute hiding. Bad news for Arsenal. Can they turn it around? Not sure. That mentality thing with Arsenal has come back into play, hasn't it? Discipline too. Such a weird disciplinary points level under Arteta. Like, it's just been poor. FPL Gaza, how many points hits is expected this week? Thinking of a -8. I think people are going to take big hits this week. We'll get into that a bit later on. But for sure, as we say there, like talking through how people are going to decide their teams, it's really tricky. Obviously, later on, we've got Pep Roulette coming too. This week, I'm talking about Man City, Arsenal, and Tottenham. I'll be honest, though, picking their teams is a bit of a lottery at this point. Absy got 104. I presume that's not enough, mate. You've got crying emojis there. Is this title race gone the wrong way, mate? Are you Liverpool rather than Man City this week? Paolo says, hi, Dean. Is Iheanacho an option? Iheanacho could be an option, you know. I think Iheanacho is definitely somebody to be considering. Luke says, what an atmosphere at Tottenham Stadium last night. Wow, it looked absolutely banging, even outside the stadium. Seeing them all chant, I see Arsenal get battered everywhere they go. I see you, Tottenham fans. John got 118 on a free hit. had KDB but didn't captain him and still got that massive score. Would you do Son to Salah for a -4? I would not do that, no. And I will tell you why later in the show, Jot. Be really interested to hear what you guys have to say about that as well. I want you to reserve your opinion on Mo Salah for now. But later on, I am going to be asking specifically about him. What's to come in the show tonight? We've got Fresh Off the Press. We're going to run through bit of transfer news, and then looking too at the end of the season, what we can expect from certain players. We'll go through Pep Roulette, as I say, Man City, Arsenal, and Tottenham under the microscope. We'll go through mine and Gianni's teams around the halfway point of the show. Against the obvious, I am going here. There's somebody I'm singling out, one of the superstars of the Premier League, that we shouldn't have in our team this week. And then we will finalise with your questions. FPL Gaza is thinking KDB and Son switch around, Kulu and Foden switch around, and Laporte to cash for a -8. Ooh, it's brave. Look, Kulusevski is not in the form that he was for sure for Tottenham. And Foden looking like he's going to be playing every game. Thoughts on Mount out for Zaha or Kulusevski? I think it's brave. I wouldn't keep getting Kulusevski in at this point, to be honest. This isn't the form that he was in when he first came into Tottenham, in my opinion. And Mount out is a massive shout. Look, I know he's not playing in the FA Cup. Depends on what your squad is. Depends if you can replace him without having to transfer him. Big differential this week, says CH, was to sell Havertz for Rodrigo. Let me know how the points weighed out. I mean, I know Havertz got pretty much nothing, but what did you actually end up with for Rodri of City? Very interested to know that. Right, lads, we are going to move into the next section in a second. So bear with me while we run through some news in the football world. Yeah, keep your comments coming in, everyone. And thanks for everyone that is joining. If you're wondering why I'm sat here on my own, Gianni's on a stag do. He couldn't make it, and we couldn't get a sub that was worthy of taking his place. You can't just have anyone turning up on Chasing Green Arrows. And Gianni's one of a kind, and we thought, Dean will just have to go solo. So here I am. But of course, you lot joining me. So thank you so much. In this Fresh Off the Press section, I do want to talk about Coutinho and the fact that Aston Villa are signing him on a permanent deal. It's a big decision by Aston Villa. It's a bold decision by Aston Villa. Steven Gerrard obviously driving this decision, really wanted him in by the end of the season. And you know why? Because he wants to use Coutinho as a selling point to make sure that the level of player that he's getting in during the summer is there, right at the very top. He doesn't want to settle for anything midway. He wants the very best players to be interested in coming to Aston Villa. And he feels that by having Coutinho as the talisman, as the salesman, if you like, of Aston Villa, he's going to get some big names through the door. I think Aston Villa are going to have a massive summer in the transfer window, a mini overhaul, if you like. I think the core of that team could be ripped up and started again. I think it'll be very interesting. But Coutinho himself hasn't been in great form, in my eyes. He started well. We know what Coutinho's like as a player anyway. He fades in and out. But from an FPL point of view, be surprised if there are that many people, particularly on this stream, still on him. Never Give Up says Coutinho is a no-go. And I kind of agree at this point. I don't think Coutinho is worth having at the moment. That doesn't mean, though, that he won't be worth having next season. Let me know how you think Aston Villa will shape up for next season. Let me know, too, who you think are the players out to prove a point. One of them, I think, is Rafinha. I've had him in my team for a while. And let's be honest, I should have got rid of Rafinha a while back. He's still in there. He's still lingering. He might as well see out the season now. Surely he has to. So I just pulled the wire there and I just rocked my laptop. Rafinha surely has to score for me before the end of the season. Leeds have to score. A draw might be enough for Leeds to stay in the Premier League. Burnley have got more games left, but they've got tough games. There is no guarantee right now that Burnley get another point in this division. So Leeds could still stay up, and Rafinha is going to have to step forward, or Bamford, unless they can get Bamford fit. There are reports that Bamford is coming back soon, so they can get Bamford out there. Leeds have got a chance of staying up, but it's not looking good. For me, it's out of those two right now. Luke says Maddison, for example, a great option instead of Coutinho for the next 2 game weeks. Exactly that, Luke. Exactly that. A pro of the game there. You want Maddison. He's in really good form at the moment. FPL Gaza thoughts reports Rafinha to Newcastle. Look, Newcastle are in the market for a game changer, like in its literal sense. Like they want a player that can turn a game on its head. They want also a player that can make other players from the outside kind of raise their eyebrows and think, wow, if he's gone there, maybe I need to consider it. I'm not convinced that Rafinha is that man. Yes, Newcastle do have some interest in him, but let's be honest, Newcastle have interest in players all over Europe right now, and they're setting the bar very high. The good thing with Rafinha is that if he's relegated, he's readily available. So that's why Newcastle will be looking down that street. I'm not sure how much he changes, though, at Newcastle. CH says Leeds have to score, but will they? Exactly this. And that's why I think on a week ago or so, I said on here, I think Leeds go down because they don't have a goal scorer. Burnley keep it tight and they can win by tight margins. Everton have Richarlison, have Calvert-Lewin, and they've got Jordan Pickford. They'll be okay. Leeds, they got Meslier in goal. They're okay there, but they've got disciplinary problems, and they've also had no goal scorer. Leeds attack is basically Rafinha and a bunch of headless chickens, John says. Because there's no Bamford, and players like Rodrigo can't step up. They have not been able to step up when they've been needed, and it's been a big problem for Leeds. But fair play for their supporters because they have absolutely stuck by them. I saw how quickly the Arsenal away end emptied at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium last night. That did not happen at Elland Road, I noticed. Gary Clark says Patrick Schick to Arsenal. Look, Arsenal are in the market for a striker. There's no doubt about that. They've got about 9, 10 players on their radar right now. Patrick Schick is not one of those that's been at the top of it. It's an interesting link, but I think you got to look at players like Richarlison, like Calvert-Lewin, like Alex Isak. There are a lot of players, Lautaro Martinez, all different types of strikers, to be honest. I'm still not sure exactly what Mikel Arteta wants for the focal point of his side, because you look at the type of players that are linked, they're all pretty different. FPL River says Rafinha to Bayern, isn't it? I mean, they've been interested in him for a long time. I think Rafinha's hoping so. I think that's where he hopes this ends, because he wants Champions League football. I'm not sure there's a Champions League club in England coming in for him. But obviously, he will be coveted. There will be interest in Rafinha this summer. He is a good player. Doesn't help when you're in a struggle at the wrong end of the table when you're a player of Rafinha's style. Dexter says, evening all, mad to see Leeds lose their heads like this, but still think they might stay up and Burnley go down. I mean, there's not much to base that on at the moment, is the problem. They did have a little bounce back under Jesse Marsh. I was quite optimistic, to be honest, until 2 weeks ago. I've seen more from Burnley to suggest that Burnley stay up than I have from Leeds in the last 2 or 3 weeks. So let's see how that plays out, Dexter. Interesting to see which side of the fence you are falling on, though. Luke says Jesus has been heavily linked with Arsenal. Can you see that happening? I mean, he has been heavily linked, and Arsenal have registered their interest in him and Raheem Sterling. But look, is Gabby Jesus going to go from a team that we're knocking on the door of winning the Champions League and are winning the Premier League to playing for Arsenal? Like that is a big question for him. Like, yes, he'll get regular football. He'll be the star of the team. But will he get any silverware? You really are dropping down from like the highest height. It's a really tough move to make. And Gabby Jesus knows he's got a big decision to make. He still might stay. But we will have to wait and see what decision he makes and actually whether Arsenal decide to go through with signing him, because as you say, they have had a few people. Thanks everyone who is joining us at the moment. There are plenty of you in the chat. Thank you. Really appreciate you coming. To say Gianni, not here today. He will be back on Monday. We might have a special guest on Monday too, to make up for the fact that you're just listening to me for 45 minutes tonight. Alan says maybe if Leeds stop getting red cards, they can score. Absolutely that, Alan. Absolutely that. I mean, that's a big problem. I partly blame Jesse Marsh. This is something that has turned around since he's been there. So it's weird. I wasn't expecting this under him, but Leeds' disciplinary record has been pretty poor since he came in. So let's see. They definitely can't afford any more red cards this season. Just to address one here from FPL River, any truth in Chelsea going for Koulibaly as a Rudiger replacement? There is some truth in it. Yeah, there is some truth in it. I did a story today over at Gimme Sport talking about Jules Koundé and the fact that they're still in for Jules Koundé and that they're going to move for him as soon as they can. As soon as this takeover stuff is sorted out, they want Jules Koundé. But they're not going to stop at one centre-back. If they can get two, they'll get two. Thomas Tuchel really likes Kimpembe at PSG, but Koulibaly is also a player on their radar. If I'm totally honest with you, there are like 6 or 7 other names on that list as well. So Koulibaly is just one of them. I also think that Koulibaly is back in demand. He'd fallen off the radar a little bit. He wasn't in great form earlier on in the season. In the Jan market, it wasn't talked about too much. But he's back on a lot of radars this summer. So watch out for Koulibaly. Right, we're going to move on in a second and we're going to talk about some likely lineups. Look, tough time of the season. Predicting who's going to play. If you've got a free hit left, you won't want to be wasting it. So let's get into some lineups to come in game week 37 and assess where we think some of the big teams are falling under Pep Roulette. Yeah, no Liverpool or Chelsea or Man United playing this week for us in FPL, which is always a shame, obviously. But what we have got is some big battles going on elsewhere in the Premier League. Man City can pretty much get the title wrapped up. Arsenal have a lot of work to do now, and Tottenham have a bit of momentum. So let's try and figure out exactly where we're going with these teams. We started there with Man City, as you can see, scrolling along the bottom. They've got a massive problem at the heart of their defence. And it's probably the only reason to doubt that they're going to get any points against West Ham. All their centre-backs are basically out. Ake is the only recognisable one at the moment. And there's a possibility, as you can see in the graphic there, rolling along the bottom, that Rodri has to start as centre-back. That's not ideal, is it? 2 games from the end of the season. You're having to do that because of Laporte and Diaz have picked up injuries. Obviously, we've seen Kyle Walker have problems too. Right at a key stage of the season. Looks like Man City will get over the line in the Premier League. But can they get the job done at West Ham this weekend? Or are we going down to the final day? Abzi says West Ham will score for sure. And this is what's really interesting for me. You know, we were looking back 3 or 4 weeks ago at FPL and talking about like assets to avoid. And we're pretty much all agreed that like get off of West Ham. All their focus is on the Europa League, getting to that final, trying to win it. Unbelievable opportunity for them. Well, they didn't get to the final. And suddenly everything's back on the Premier League for them, ending with a bang, seeing how high in the league they can actually finish. And now they've got an opportunity to really upset Man City at home. Look, Laporte check training picks tomorrow before removing him. Absolutely. I mean, that's like Gianni is sat next to me, FPL Gaza, saying that. Check your training picks. I never do, but you lot definitely should. It is possible he plays, but we have to wait and see. John says we would love to see Bowen do us a favour again against a makeshift Man City defence. Exactly that. I think that is the thing that a lot of people are hoping for. Further up the field, KDB in there, obviously. It's still a bit tricky to predict what goes on beyond that, if I'm totally honest. Gon Bernardo and Gundogan in my team, and Mahrez, Jesus, and Foden. Be interesting to see how many of you agree. But obviously, if Rodri is going to have to drop back into defence, which is possible at this stage, there's going to have to be a bit of a reshuffle. And I just think that would be possibly the most likely way and the most reliable way for Pep to approach that game. Not sure about Raheem Sterling, not sure about Jack Grealish. Raz has been missing so many chances for Man City at the far post. I don't know why. Usually at this time of the season, he does score goals, and I think he's at double figures again this season. I'm pleased for him. I'm not sure if he has a future at Man City. I'm not sure if he starts this team. Let me know what you think on that Man City attack. Dexter says final day for sure. This will be Mark Noble's testimonial, his last outing at the stadium. The Hammers may very well dent City's title hopes. You know what? That would be absolutely massive, wouldn't it? If West Ham beat Man City here and take the season down to the final day, it would be so significant and so exciting. Tiffany asks, should I move Laporte to Zinchenko or just grab cash? Well, it's tricky, isn't it? Because there's definitely, if Laporte and Diaz aren't playing, there's an increased chance here of Man City conceding. Now, obviously, you've got the possibility of Zinchenko still managing to get points further forward, because we've got to assume City will score in that game. Like, they will score, and KDB in this kind of form will probably be the man that scores it. I'd be tempted to go cash if I'm totally honest. I'd be tempted to get away from that City defence just in case. Absy says too difficult for City because of the West Ham fans. I mean, there's going to be it will be an unbelievable atmosphere in there. But City have been through psychological challenges over the past few weeks. They failed their psychological test in Madrid, but they have reacted well. They've scored 19 goals in their last 4 Premier League games, 22 in their last 5. This City team really seem to have the bit between their teeth in terms of the Premier League. So let's see. Look, this is a proper case of Pep Roulette this week. You could almost close your eyes and just go through players to see who comes out, because as much logic as we can try to apply, Pep may have something completely different in mind if that defensive crisis is indeed in place. Right, let's move across now, because I want to talk about what's going on in North London. Arsenal obviously totally rocked by that defeat to Tottenham. And now let's see what they do when they're on the ropes. Let's see if Arsenal can bounce back one more time. Typically, what's happened this season, Arsenal lose a game, and then they lose the next couple, lose the next 2 or maybe 3. They really go on a wobble. They were a very streaky team, Arsenal, and that's not a good sign for them going into the last 2 games of the season. Let's look at their lineup and see how this might play out. I mean, obviously, they've got red card issues of their own, and this was a punt really at how they might line up at the back. I've gone for Tavares, Ben White, Gabriel, and Cedric. Don't even know if Gabriel's going to be fit, to be honest. Obviously, we're making all these decisions now. We have to wait until as late as possible before actually deciding on these selections. I've got Gabriel in my team, and he let me down in the double game week, and he's not really looking like much of an asset right now to me. Chasing Green Arrows are asking in the comment section, will Arsenal choke? So make sure you are responding to that. They were in prime position to get this tied up. 3-0 defeat is horrible for them. Absy says Arsenal City have the same problem. They've got no defence, and that's exactly it. It's very hard to trust these teams. Further forward, I think it's pretty predictable if I'm totally honest. And Nketiah, I'm going to presume he starts. I have to. Wasn't a great day for him. Lacazette obviously comes back into the fold here and has to be considered. I'm not sure. And Nketiah, by the way, his future at Arsenal, still very uncertain. Checked it out this week. I thought, surely Arsenal are going to just give him a new contract now and he signs it. Gets to stay at Arsenal. Happy days. No. Nketiah really wants to make sure that he's playing regular first-team football. He knows Arsenal are going to go and sign a striker in the summer. He's not sure he's going to stay. FPL River says he can see Arsenal dropping points at Newcastle or Spurs win both of their games. Spurs clinch 4th. It's a very, very valid point. I mean, you're looking at these last 2 fixtures, and Tottenham under Antonio Conte suddenly seem to have had a mentality switch. They've been a bit more assured. They've had a much more fight in them, I believe. I think that's one thing that Conte really wanted out of this team. He felt that it didn't hurt enough when they lost games. And I feel like it does hurt them now. I think he does too. And he wanted to see that. It's part of the reason he wanted to weigh out the season and see whether it was worth hanging around. At the moment, I think it feels like Conte's got such a feel-good factor around Tottenham. I believe he will stay for this next season. I wouldn't even rule out him staying beyond that if things go well. Spurs next 2 games. Burnley at home, Norwich away. They are 2 unbelievable FPL fixtures that have to be considered. People like me who haven't got any Tottenham assets could be in trouble there, to be honest. I mean, Kane hasn't been in the form he was in the season before in terms of goals. He's still been playing well most of the time. Been a little inconsistent, but he could really eat up some goals there. Son seems to be going for the golden boot, so he's going into my FPL team. I think Arsenal will choke. That all or nothing doc should be entertained. That's a good point. I keep forgetting that they are being filmed behind the scenes at Arsenal. But yes, Son is the man to get in at Tottenham at the moment. ahead of Harry Kane. If you can get Son in for those last 2 games, absolutely get him. CH says they may choke, but it won't be a high-scoring game for FPL perspective, and that's true. That is 100% true. Arsenal will close up shop, I would imagine. Let's switch over to the other side of North London and just see what we think we might get from Tottenham for those fixtures that I was just talking about. Look, let's be honest. Why change? Why switch up that lineup unless anything has been forced on them on the back of that game day? It's a strong lineup. I know that Emerson Royale is not a great defender. I know that he's not the future for Tottenham, but at the moment he plays. That 3 at the back is doing okay. They're obviously going to sign a left-sided centre-back in the summer. Ryan Sessegnon, he's not doing brilliantly, but he's doing enough right now. And Spurs are playing 2 teams who are poor. Let's be honest about it. They're playing 2 poor teams, and they should see him off. Gautam says, have Salah and KDB, but Son seems to be a necessity at this point. Who should I downgrade to bring in Son and possibly Vardy or Saha? Do not get rid of Kevin De Bruyne. Absolutely do not. There's an argument to be made for Mo Salah, and I'm going to make it in 5 minutes or so. Stick around. I've got something to say about Mo Salah. And I think we need to have a discussion about Mo Salah. So stick around. Thanks everyone that has joined us so far here on Chasing Green Arrows tonight. If you're late, Gianni is away. He's on a stag do. We knew it was coming. We couldn't replace him. We just couldn't. He's irreplaceable. So he'll be back on Monday's show. But thanks to everyone that's been sharing the platform and stuff. Like, we're doing really well, and it's looking like we will be back for you all next season as well. So fingers crossed. Fingers crossed things go well for us in the close season and we get a full season of Chasing Green Arrows next term. I need it, Like, I like the advice from you lot as much as giving you lot any tips, because people like FPL River have been guiding me through these late weeks of the season with my selection dilemmas, and have helped me out. And I haven't had a good season at all. So I certainly want to be winning my mini league next season, and I want to have a much better ranking too. So hopefully we will be around. So Alan says, can we get more likes on the stream? Yes, exactly. That is what Gianni would be saying right now. Can we get some more likes on this stream? So I'm not very good at this, am I? So you lot do the job for me. Go on to there now. Give us a like. Comment if you can. And tell your mates about it too, because we want to become the go-to place for FPL chat. We know we've got a great community that we're building here, and it's only going to get better and better the more people we have coming along. John says the experience in Spurs frontline is coming through now compared to Arsenal's youth. Yeah, very different, isn't it? Arsenal, when they were relying on youth, it worked well, that rawness, for a little while. When you're up against it in a big fixture, it doesn't always work out like that. And Tottenham are reaping the rewards now of having Son and Kane and Kulusevski. Even deeper than that, they've got some real good experience in that side. Even, having Conte instead of Arteta is probably paying off too. Absy says, looking forward to that Fulham team news next season. Don't worry, mate. Don't worry about that. I'm waiting to see who our transfers are. But as a Fulham fan, I will be giving you some big tips on Fulham players that you might want in your team. Most of them you probably won't, to be fair. Paul's just given us a like. Thank you, mate. Appreciate that. Hope everybody else is following Sue FPL River with the CGA 22-23. Yes, let's get it tattooed, everyone. Let's get this done. Right, let's get on to the next segment, I think, because we are going to chat about mine and Gianni's teams before we get onto that Salah section, which I think you're going to find very interesting. All right, half hour into a show. Here is the part where you get to look at my team from Gameweek 36. 78 points, not happy with that. Almost every single player was on a double game week. Hang your heads, Gabriel, Havertz, Saka, Werner, Rafinha. Absolute embarrassment. Also, like, melon of the season is Broja. 2 points again, like... Broja, since he was linked to like every club in the world in January, has scored 1 goal. Like, what is going on with him? He will not be seen for me in FPL ever again. Watkins suddenly got this triangle attached to him, which I was not happy to see at all. I know it says 75% that he'll play, but Villa, he's only really was brought in a couple of weeks ago for me, Watkins. because Villa had back-to-back doubles, and now I'm seeing like Watkins might not be playing. I'm like, I have to ignore that. I have to ignore it, presuming that Watkins is playing. I have to say though, Eddie's asking like, do we keep Watkins or put in Ings? Ings is looking better for me. I think Ings might be the better shout, especially as he hasn't got the triangle as far as I know. So yeah, get on Ings if you've got the choice to make. Get on Ings. Very interesting though. Mo Salah, look at that, captain, 6 points. Ugh, couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe how his game week played out. Positives from my game week. Pickford, massive positive. Brought him in for a reason. So my goalkeepers getting me 26 points of those 78. So that was weird. That's literally puts my whole midfield to shame, apart from Foden. Dexter says, why is Bro still on your team? Look like I'm in a Diego Costa, but because he wasn't scoring when I brought him in and he'd been on fire, and then he didn't score for a few games. So I was like, well, he has to score soon. Like he's due a goal, and he didn't score. So I thought, well, he's got to come soon. So I stuck with him, and here he is. He's hung around for about 14 game weeks. This guy, unbelievable. Absy says Watkins didn't train. Don't wind me up. Yeah, look, maybe they're saving him for the game. They've got 2 games, so I can't really do a transfer. I'm bringing in Richarlison to this team. So Richarlison on the double is coming in. He has to. So Richarlison is coming in as my transfer for the week. I might have to take a -4 somewhere along the lines. Obviously, I've got too many Chelsea players for this week. But yeah, not ideal. Che Adams to Ings is the easiest decision I'll make all season. Yeah, that seems like a very, very simple decision to make, doesn't it? Fair play, John. Dexter says, I did the same thing for ages, that loyalty to Chelsea, but I had to get rid of him. The 2 point was hurting my... Exactly. It's 2 point, 2 point, 2 point, 1 point, 2 point from Broja. All second half of the season. It is extremely annoying. I thought this guy was the real deal, and I've been serious reservations about that now after seeing his output in the last few months. All right, we've got an interesting one here coming in from Julio, who is listing his team in the comments and asking who he should bench. So he's got Schmeichel and Ramsdale as his keepers, which is a nice one. Alonso, Cancelo, Robertson, Cash, Dyer, Saka, Ramsey, KDB, Son. This is a really strong squad. I really like the squad. I mean, I have 2 wrong here. Just trying to flip up my thing and get up the double fixtures for this week and just make sure I'm not missing anything on, because Leicester, yeah. So I'd have Leicester, Schmeichel in goal. Alonso, obviously, you could put Alonso on the bench, I think. Play Cancelo. Robertson can go. Play with Cancelo, Cash, Dyer. Play a whole midfield, and then play Richarlison and Tony. That would be my take on that, Julio. That's where I'll be going with that. Very nice team, though. Quite jealous of that. We're going to switch on to look at Gianni's team in a minute, by the way. So let's look at Paul. He says, I'd take Gerard with a pinch of salt. Digne was supposed to be out for the season. Yeah, Digne was supposed to be out for the season, but he's going to be a big addition to that Villa side next season. So still think that will turn out to be a good signing. Here, there's my lineup for the upcoming game week. Just talked about Richarlison coming in. Bye-bye, Timo Werner. Yeah, Chelsea obviously do have a game, but they also have a cup final, as do Liverpool. That is weighing on my mind a little bit with that Havertz selection. Like, Havertz not seen, really. Alan, wouldn't planning for 2 weeks be better? Havertz and Werner to Son and Nketiah. Yeah, it absolutely would. Yeah, it would be. But I've already replaced Werner with Richarlison, so I can't do that. You need to download Diaz to Cash as well. Yeah, the Diaz thing caught me out massively. Obviously, of course it did. Like, for him not to play in that second game was a killer. And now I've still got him on my bench, and I'm probably like... The only reason I'm okay with it at the moment is I've got two games from Roberts, 2 games from Amati. But they're not exactly prime assets, are they? They're literally like probably the cheapest guys in my team. Pierre Abadaki, how much rotation I'm expecting from Chelsea and Liverpool? That's what I'm worried about, really. Liverpool, particularly if City have wrapped up the title against West Ham by winning, because like the goal difference now is so far ahead that Liverpool can't catch them. Basically, they're not going to catch them. So I've just got a feeling like with Liverpool that after the cup final they're done until the Champions League final. So we'll have to wait and see. And as for Chelsea, who knows what they're going to be playing for at that point? Who knows what effect a win or defeat would have on them in that FA Cup final? Really tough one. Really tough weekend. Let me know who you think will win that FA Cup final, by the way, out of Chelsea and Liverpool. Obviously, they've become rivals, basically, haven't they, Chelsea and Liverpool, on the big stage. I think, personally, that Liverpool will still get that job done, but interested to hear what you guys would think. Are you keeping Havertz? I mean, hopefully not. No, Tiffany, but I've done my free transfer, which was Richarlison. I've just got a feeling about him in this game with those two fixtures against Brentford and Palace. But no, I really don't want Diaz and I don't want Havertz, but I also don't want to take a -8. So we shall see. Gautam says -4 to bring in Zaha and Digne for Diaz and Rafinha possibly. Yeah, well, look, as I say, like, I'm not taking 2 more out because I've taken 1. Do you have 1 or 2 frees? Look, guys, I have not managed the chips well. I have nothing left in the bank. What you see is what you get. WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get from this team right now. On paper, that on your screen is my team. Like it's a lost cause. Like my players are on the beach. I'm waiting for next season. We'll probably take a gamble, by the way. Like Salah's not going to be my captain this week. Let's see. John, by the way, says Luis Diaz made for that Wembley pitch. Think it goes pens. Agree. I think it could go deep, could go extra time. Not sure pens again, though. Not sure about pens again. Dexter says Chelsea to win, but it won't be easy. 1-1 and another goal from Chelsea in extra time. Except their goal counts this time. Wasn't that Lukaku goal that last time out? Was it Lukaku? I think so. That was ruled out. I thought a bit harshly. Gianni's free hit is coming up, everyone. That's probably what you've come to see, to be honest, isn't it? Gianni is the king of this show, and he is playing a free hit this week because he has a good plan about how his season's going to go, whereas I don't. So coming up on your screen any second will be Gianni's free hit team for game week 37. And there it is. Let me know what you are thinking about Gianni's team. I think I remember him saying he was a bit underwhelmed by his points from the last game week. But this week you can clearly see he's got a lot of double ups in there. He's gone for Ings and Watkins. So on the back of us saying which one would we pick, he's got both. Just goes to show that the maestro himself is even expecting Villa Hall, especially, I guess, with Coutinho now signed up. He does need to turn up. So you think that he might be laying on some goals for Ings and Watkins. Yes, just trying to catch up on the comments here. Just sympathies, Dean. Absolutely, Dexter. Absolutely, he says you are the king. Look, Gianni's the king of FPL. As are you, Abzi. Obviously, with your ranking this season in the Chasing Green Arrows League, you've had a fantastic season. But I guess the one thing that is clear here is that there's no Mo Salah in this team. He has got Son. He has got De Bruyne. I think they are the 2 key midfield assets that everybody should be trying to get if you possibly can. Keith says, great stream, Dean. Appreciate it, mate. It's a bit weird sitting here talking non-stop for like 40 to 50 minutes, whatever it ends up being. But giving it a good go. Paul says, Dean, some guys took a -16 in 36 and scored 170 plus. Take a gamble, nothing to lose. How am I going to get 170 plus? I'm not sure. I mean, if I'm going to, wow, I haven't got Son or De Bruyne, so I'm not sure that's going to happen. Karav says, if Watkins is not nailed to start both, he can go Simicast to Robbo. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. I don't know if I would do that. Robertson hasn't been in very good form, to be honest, and Simicast is unbelievable value at 3.7. That's why he's in there, Simicast. He's one of the cheapest players in the game, and at the moment, he's playing. And you know what? He's actually not that far off Robertson at the moment, the form that both are in. Who would ever have thought that Pickford would be in our teams? Pickford's in everyone's team at the moment. He's having an absolutely storming end to the season. To be honest, if, and I think when, Everton stay up, so much of it is down to Jordan Pickford. He's been producing heroics in that Everton goal. If you haven't got Jordan Pickford in your team this week, I need to know why, because there doesn't seem to be a more obvious pick than Jordan Pickford in 2 home games against Brentford and Crystal Palace. Potentials for clean sheets, potentials for saves too. Jordan Pickford as having a wonderful end to the season. But yeah, it looks like Gianni is going to end pretty strong, hey guys? I mean, that's not a bad team to be fielding in game week 37. I imagine it's a far cry from the team he was fielding in game week 1. I bet he, think back to game week 1 and we were all weighing up like Lukaku and all this kind of stuff. Harry Kane, how we were going to fit all these other guys in. It's always weird how a season starts to pan out, isn't it? Alan says, any news on Gator? He's in my bench boost. Also have Mateta, who didn't start. Would need hit. I mean, I don't have any news on Gator. No, I have to say, I've been at Legoland today. My kids turned 2. So we took the kids to Legoland. So I haven't been checking team news as I normally would ahead of the stream. I haven't got that information for you to hand. If someone else wants to check it, absolutely feel free to help Alan out. We are all team chasing green arrows. So let's help each other out here. John says Southampton are due a 0-0. Double Liverpool attack, not the worst idea. They might be. Southampton can tend to be pretty rubbish, can't they? And this season, I think the manager might even be in trouble, if I'm totally honest. Like, I think that he might be on shaky ground because Southampton's form has not been good enough in the second half of the season. Jot says Laporte, bro, you're out for cash, and Ings are -4. Thoughts are an additional hit for Salah, out for Son. I'm going to get onto that in a second. Any minute now, I'm going to switch and tell you all what I think about Mo Salah for this coming game week. I think this is pretty big news. Not quite as big as FPL Rivers take that Legoland is great, which I do agree with. But the next segment of this show is called Against the Obvious. And we've got a big talking point. So let's go. Mo Salah, everyone. Mo Salah is my against the obvious pick for this game week. Look, he's got fixtures left this season against Southampton and against Wolves. I have not done this all season, but I think I'm going to ditch Mo Salah and take a hit, take a -4, because I'm not sure he's the guy to have at this stage of the season. I don't think he's Liverpool's best player. I don't think he would be the first Liverpool forward that I would write down on the team sheet at the moment. His last 3 games, he got a point against Villa. He got 2 points against Spurs. He got a point against Newcastle. Salah's season is not ending with a bang at this point. I know it's Southampton. I know this is a gamble, but I feel like if you have the means to get to Son, to get to KDB for those last 2 games, I would do it. Bear in mind too that Liverpool have a Champions League final coming up. If the Premier League is out of their hands now, if it's out of reach, I don't know if Salah definitely gets all those minutes in those 2 games anyway. My time's run out. Look, everyone, lads and ladies, let me know what you think about this. I don't think I'm being silly here. Alan said, I think Salah being rested means he'll be on form till the end of the season. Golden boot. I mean, there is the golden boot to weigh into this. I do understand that, but I'm not sure that Salah's scoring that many goals from here out. Like, I know it sounds stupid. They're playing Southampton and Wolves, but watching Kevin De Bruyne and Son, they've been unbelievable. Like, especially KDB, like the way he's driving, the way he's making things happen. He's literally leading Man City to a Premier League title. And Son is the go-to guy for Spurs, who kind of have more to play for at this stage than Liverpool, who probably aren't going to win the Premier League. FPL River says, I love you, Dean, but I can't sell Salah before he faces Southampton. They're shocking. And that is obviously my big conundrum here. And I'm very nervous to do this, especially as the guy ahead of me and the guy that can, I think I can still be plunged into the curry zone in our mini league. He's got Salah, and I'm pretty sure I'll just leave him as captain because he has done all season. But, oh man, I don't know. I'm not enjoying what I'm seeing from Salah, even when he is on the pitch. He's not the threat he was. I don't know. I am tempted to ditch him. Laura says it too. She literally used those words. I'm tempted to ditch Mo Salah. Dexter says, agree with you. Salah's not in my free hit team, but it still feels wrong. Captain this week, Richarlison, Son, KDB, someone else. Look, I think Richarlison, with the 2 fixtures he's got, is a great shout. There's a lot to play for Everton. He has to turn up. They have to win. I think Richarlison's a good shout. Curtis, FPL doesn't work like that. You take that out and he's got a hat-trick. Curtis, I've been burned by this man more times than I care to remember. There was a stage, it might have been 2 years ago now, where I tried to convince myself that Mo Salah was done. That Mo Salah, fraud's the wrong word. I didn't think he was a fraud, but I was never convinced that Mo Salah was actually like at the top. I never thought that he was the go-to guy, that he could stay there, that he could really be considered as like, I don't know, I guess a Ballon d'Or contender is how you would probably phrase it. He's obviously proved me wrong. He's hung around and he's like done ridiculous stuff for Liverpool. But Gautam says, do it, mate. Son playing Norwich in 38-2. And that's the thing for me. I think they give Norwich a hiding on the last day of the season. I've got a feeling I'm going to be switching here. It'll be another 50-50, says Tiffany. Salah versus Son. Salah may go wild now that he's rested. Go with your gut and have fun. I think that is the absolute key to this. Have fun, because that's what FPL is supposed to be. And we go through so many stages of the season where it's almost dread when you're waiting for a lineup. There's that horrible feeling when either a popular player scores and you haven't got him, or one of your players is sent off or misses a chance. Like, you get that gut feeling, and it's a bad gut feeling. But sometimes you make a decision like this, you ditch Salah, you get in Son or KDB, and it pays off. And the rewards, you feel like you're Pep Guardiola for the day. You feel like you've made the call that mattered, and you stood there in the kitchen or your lounge, clapping the fans that don't exist. Yeah, absolutely, Tiffany. I agree. Everybody make sure you are having fun. And in the last 2 weeks of the season, because we then got to wait till August for the next season. So it says, let us know you moved in and we'll do the opposite if you have the Salah. Yeah, it's a fair point, mate. It is a fair point. What if Man City drop points against West Ham? And it's a big if. Salah will be needed against Southampton. Yeah, look, it's a fair point, and it's all part of the gamble that you take, isn't it? It's all the whole season, the whole game is ifs and buts, and we don't know any of it. Everything we do, it's a prediction, but it's also a guess. Dean, what do you think of Luis Diaz for Salah and bring Vardy in forwards with Ings and Richarlison on free hitting? I've still in KDB, but no Kane. Get Luis Diaz for Salah, absolutely. Look, Luis Diaz, I was saying there, for me, Salah would not be the first name in the forward list for me. It would be Luis Diaz. Luis Diaz has brought something phenomenal to this Liverpool lineup at halfway through the season, to come into Anfield, to make yourself feel at home, to get your feet under the table, to make an impact, to then force your way into being a regular part of it. It's unheard of. It's unbelievable. Jota waited ages for that. And Jota, we applauded Jota for even being able to do it. And it took him much longer than it's taken Luis Diaz. Luis Diaz is, well, he's I said I think on the last show, he's probably the best January signing of all time. I know people remind me of Van Dijk and stuff, but for the money spent, like in terms of value, in terms of impact, in terms of surprise, it's just been an unbelievable signing by Liverpool. Use the Salah funds for a Gameweek 38 Vardy party, says John. Would be nice, wouldn't it? I haven't had Vardy all season to get Vardy now. Oh, mate, my rank is low. I don't even know. I don't even look at it anymore. I'm way, way down. My phone's not loading up. I'm like million or something. Like, it's not loading, but yeah, I'm way down, John. I'm way down. I think this is my worst ever season. I'm free hit and I'm tempted to do Salah to KDB for a week, but I'm thinking West Ham might surprise Man City. But the thing is, Kevin De Bruyne will perform. That's what I see from that. And, West Ham have had a long season with pretty much the same 13, 14 players. They're exhausted. They're on their last legs. They've still got plenty to play for. And I still think that West Ham will give City a good game. think KDB might be too strong, though. I have to say, I do think that what am I saying? Pep Guardiola. Have Pep Guardiola in your starting lineup. Don't do that. Kevin De Bruyne in your starting lineup if you can. It's still a fantastic way to end your season. But yeah, absolutely. Then have some fun last 2 weeks. There's nothing to lose. Yeah, not a lot to lose, mate. As I say, the only thing I could lose is having to pay for my mates to have a curry at the end of the season, which isn't the worst way of spending money, is it? Like, I like my mates. We're gonna have a good time. So if I'm paying a share of their curry and their drinks, then fair enough, I guess. Let's look at the fixtures that are to come up in game week 37 as we get to this sad stage where there's only 2 game weeks left and we have to do this all over again in the summer and start from scratch. All the games, obviously, no Saturday games, which is a weird one. We thought about doing this stream tomorrow, but Gianni will still be away tomorrow anyway. So we thought we'd stick to tonight. And thanks again to everyone that stuck with me tonight. I am aware it's a very different stream when you just got one person talking at you. I've tried to include you all as much as possible. And I say tried to, I've had to. So thank you all for so many comments during the night. FPL River says Curry's only beckoning you, Dean. It really is, mate. It's just as well I really like Curry. I don't mind paying like £200 or whatever it's going to end up costing me. Standout fixtures of this game week, probably Arsenal going to Newcastle, but obviously all eyes on Man City and what they can get done against West Ham. Spurs Burnley 2 is the first game of the week, and for some, I think that will make or break this game week. Like that 12 o'clock kickoff, such a killer. You try to avoid it if you can, but if you've got Son, if you've got Kulusevski, if you've got Kane, you're watching that and you're just praying that they give Burnley an absolute hiding. FPL Gaza says Gianni might not be back on Monday. He will be. I'm going to make sure I message him on Sunday and say, no drinking today, mate. You can drink on Saturday, no drinking on Sunday. Straight back in here on Monday. We need you in the building. CH Dean, your stream's great. Here for the FPL Insight. Thank you, mate. I appreciate that. Not used to chatting on my own. Obviously, on our podcast, Ranks FC, if you haven't ever listened, come over there and listen to Ranks FC. But I do that with 2 guys, Sam and Jack. Sometimes we're down to 2 of us over there, but it's never just me. I don't really like the sound of my voice beyond about 10 minutes either. It's very weird to just keep talking beyond that period of time with nobody actually talking back to you. Luckily, I've had you lot talking back to me all night. It has been a big help. So thank you for that. Alan says, still only 32 likes. That's not good enough. And Gianni wouldn't be happy with that either. So thanks, Alan, for stepping up to the plate tonight and acting like Gianni. Like the stream if you like curry. It can be any form of curry. I don't care. Like the stream. Thank you for hanging around tonight, everybody. Please do give us a like. It does matter and it does count for a lot for us actually getting seen, for building, for actually hanging around. You know, we never know how long these streams can become possible in terms of actually sticking with. But look, absolutely, thank you. FPL River says you're doing a great job. Sack off Gianni and take control. There's absolutely no chance I will be doing that. Gianni will be back with me on Monday. As I mentioned earlier, we might have a guest with us. It might be 3 people for you on Monday. I really hope it is, because the person we're trying to get on is great, big in the FPL world, and is a great addition. I think you've seen them on here before as well. So listen, everyone, thank you for joining. If you're just about to log off, give us a like. If you've just joined us and missed the whole show, go back to the start and watch it all over again. I've been Dean Jones. This has been Chasing Green Arrows. We will see you on Monday.